And we live. This is the Draft Season Podcast, back for a week 2 recap in the building. We have a very special show for you guys today. Got a couple of the homies on the episode today. And for all, our good listeners and all the fans and homies of the show, they know we about to smoke out the entire Giants organization towards the end of this show. So be on the lookout for that because we all have some words on the show. We're gonna get to it. So I'm joined by I got my host with me today, Raz. This nigga is on mute right now, but Raz is with us. Um, I got returning friend of the show, my guy Andy. You can check him out at Dynasty_Buck. Andy, what's going on, my G? How you doing, bro?
What's up, bro? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Chilling, man. Yeah, man. Like I told you before, I've been trying to get you back on here for a sec. Also got my homie Denzel, friend of the show, friend of the program. Denzel, what's going on, my G?
Appreciate you having me on, man, to vent about them boys in blue.
Oh man, it's ugly, but yeah. Also, we do have my homie on the show. One of my favorite Twitter follows on the site. Whatever you want to call it, fantasy football Twitter, whatever. But I got my G Cam with me. Cam making his draft season, debut. Cam, appreciate you hopping on for us, man. How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing good, bro. I appreciate you having me. It's like, it's a pleasure to be on the show. I done caught about 8-9 of these motherfuckers, so I'm happy to be on the stream myself.
Yo, like I said, I've been trying to get you and Andy on the pod. Like I said, I enjoy y'all pod. So let the people know what y'all be doing. Plug the pod because I enjoy it. Past the production podcast. Y'all need to get on your shit. Just giving the people a lot more content going. But let the people know because y'all have a great chemistry and rapport. So I definitely have to bring y'all on here, man.
Nah, I appreciate that. I'll take the opportunity to plug the pod. It's something that me and Buck do for fun. He's more of a fantasy football analyst. I'm more just like a nigga with a microphone and a rope. I have a lot of fun doing it with Buck. We have a lot of fun analyzing what we think we know about the game. But yeah, it's called Path to Production. It's on all platforms where you can listen to podcasts. P2P. Buck, you want to plug anything else before we get into the show?
No, that's it, bro.
All right, cool. And I think, Raz, Raz got the avatar up right now, so he gonna be on us with a sec. So I mean, we about to just run through this week too. A lot happened across the National Football League. A lot of injuries, a couple breakouts coming on. So I mean, we can just go around the panel real quick. Cam, I guess we can start with you, but just main takeaways. We got a couple weeks. Week 2 is a nice sweet spot for the actual fantasy football production wise. You can tell guys that are really starting to the late sleep around guys who are really making their name for them, and guys that you're going to be able to trust putting in your lineup on a week-to-week basis. So going around the horn real quick, Cam, what really stood out to you from week 2 of the National Football League, bro?
The thing that stood out to me the most, I think, is the variance at the wide receiver position, and how inconsistent and unreliable first-round running backs have been so far this season. So I was a big proponent of pivoting after Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, and Dalvin Cook came off the board, and I didn't really want any running backs after that. I wanted to go, some of those elite wide receivers and tight ends, and that's turned out to be true so far in the season. It's been really difficult to predict the production of those RBs to start over the first 2 weeks. But also, it's a lot of variance in the wide receiver positions. I mean, we got Cooper Kupp overall, wide receiver 1. We got Deebo Samuel as a top 3 wide receiver. It's been very difficult to predict. So I feel like I feel this way a lot through 1 week of the NFL season every year, but through 2 weeks, it's a bit wonky. So my biggest takeaway is every year we don't know shit, man.
Yo, that's a great point, man, because it's real easy to talk about fantasy football after the games, but going into it, we really don't know shit. NFL coaches also are their own enemies at times, and sometimes you just you can't trust these guys to really make the proper evaluations. So that's a great point, Andy. What about you, bro?
I think I agree with what Cam said. My biggest takeaway is probably that I should have hammered Travis Kelce and Darren Waller way more in the first 2 rounds, because we look at those running backs that were going there, like the Mixons and the CEHs, and they're just not producing. Those RB2 guys, you just don't want them. And I really should have been stronger with getting Travis Kelce. And Cam said that, and I was trying to push him off of it. But yeah, I think Travis Kelce and Darren Waller, those guys being at fantasy league winners, probably my takeaway so far.
Yeah, those got and this is something that I've definitely come around on over the years. But in the leagues that I have Kelce in, it's only a couple, because I've never really been the early tight end guys. But as the league really turns into much more of a passing league, and like I said, that Sunday Night Football game was phenomenal. That was a great game. Um, we can't touch on CEH in a moment, I suppose. But yeah, like even staying on Travis Kelce for a second, like that the yards after catch he gave you and that play, call it what you want. That was terrible tackling, but regardless, like Travis Kelce does that on a week to week basis. So you know what I'm saying? That's a part of just what makes him so valuable. So I mean, Denzel, you can pop in here. This quick 2 week takeaways. What really stuck out to you? Just about how you seen the fantasy landscape turn out right now.
I definitely agree with you guys about like the running backs is a mess right now. Like it's like which running back do you own from the 49ers backfield? You have no idea. The Ravens backfield, you have no idea either. And also at tight end, like if you didn't get Waller or you didn't get Kelsey, you're kind of in a tough spot. Like besides maybe Hawkinson, but I got to see what he does tonight because I think he could probably be that third tight end to fit in with that group based on just the amount of targets that's available to him.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Raz, you with us, bro? No, he's not. Raz, shout out to the homie K. Lou in the chat. So I mean, I guess we can bounce around a little bit. So I mean, we can start off with let's go to. I mean, let's talk about the Chiefs game for a second. We can go to CEH like I mentioned. So CEH is somebody who, obviously, if anybody who watched the LSU tape, one of the best college football teams. He was carried. Just being on that offense, he showed a lot of signs. And I was somebody who, I was a fan of CEH as a draft prospect coming out. Now talking about him, and I feel like this is why having contextualizing these players' talents. It's a very important part when you're talking about redraft and even dynasty. But CH was never this, power back. He was never really that at LSU. A lot of times, even his chemistry that he showed with Joe Burrow as well at Joe Burrow at LSU, about a receiving back. He also showed a lot of signs, but that hasn't been something that's really played his part out for CEH. Patrick Mahomes isn't, he's not in this like the Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees looking to always dump it down. Patrick Mahomes is looking down the field. Justin Herbert is also in that same class of guys. So when we're talking about if you want to just play the PPR game, which was a huge part of what we saw from or just theoretically the value that people expected from CH. If you're expecting him to return second or third round value this year, that's a huge part of the equation. And he just hasn't done that in these first couple of years. So, I mean, going into for CEH, how do you guys see this backfield playing out? Obviously, he had that big fumble towards the end of this game. I don't have much CEH stock across any of my leagues. I don't know about you guys, but like even I know last year for sure. I remember one draft I did towards the end of last year. CH went second, which is just that was like it was a NFFC league as well. So this was high stakes and people who put money on the line and supposedly know what they're doing. But how do you guys see this actual CEH, route or saga playing out in Kansas City? Do you think Darrell Williams is going to end up as a focal part or start really eating into that production for him going forward? And I mean, if you did have CEH for those of you who might be stuck, are you holding or are you looking to like sell low and just get out of there? So how would you guys approach this CEH thing? Andy, I think we can start with you, my guy.
Yeah, I think if you have him, you have to hold him. Like in redraft, I mean, you're not really going to be able to trade him for much. You're just going to have to hold and hope for a good game. I think CH is a good player, but he just doesn't get the role. Like you said, like Patrick Mahomes isn't looking to check down very much. He didn't have any targets last game. So I just think going forward, you got to look at him as like an RB2, maybe like top to 18 running back. And if you could sell, like maybe you could get someone to give you Miles Sanders plus in the redraft league because he's been a little down, hasn't been getting targets, then sell for that. But for now, I just think you have to hold. And for Dynasty, I think I would if you can get a 23 first, I would take that.
Okay, I would shout out to the homie K. Lou in the chat. K. Lou, and with all due respect to CH, he's not as explosive as Leon Washington. Like Leon Washington was making big plays. Like I really if we're just talking about, splash plays, that's just something that's been missing from the CEH experience since he's been in the league these last couple of years. And even I know I tweeted this last night, but it was really bad timing on the fumble because he fumbling just hasn't been something that he's done over the last 685 touches that he's had going back to LSU. He only fumbled once, so that was just terrible timing. But Cam, how would you handle the CEH stuff? Is there any hope for a bounce back? How you moving with that?
I'm in agreement with Buck when it comes to his value. In redraft, you can't really sell because I'm not sure what somebody would give for CH right now, especially following the 2 games. You touched on the Daryl Williams thing. I don't think I worry about Clyde Edwards-Helaire's opportunity share in the Kansas City offense. I think his role is what it is. He's going to have 80+% of that touch share in Kansas City because Daryl Williams is not good. Jerick McKinnon, he's done. He's going to have the work, but I think
done.
I think it's a matter of what that means. I mean, is that role valuable in the Kansas City offense at all? I think both you and Buck alluded to the fact that Mahomes is a downfield thrower. If you watch the film, like I did the sped up like all 22 or like fake all 22 from red zone or whatever, you go play by play. There was so many instances where Clyde Edwards-Helaire was open in the flat and Mahomes just shoved it to Travis Kelce between 2 linebackers. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to be that back that gives you that 50 reception floor that'll give him that high end RB2, back end RB1, production. So if you drafted him in redraft, you probably got to eat your losses or wait for a big game to try to flip him. In Dynasty, I would definitely probably take. I'm nervous about CH, so I'll probably take any future first for him over the next 2 seasons. I mean, you mentioned his production at LSU. He was a really good back. I mean, he caught 55 passes. He had a 10% target share at LSU. Like, he was heavily utilized in the passing game. But he's not an athlete, like you touched on that. He doesn't catch a ton of passes. And they don't want to use him at the goal line. He got vultured by Daryl Williams last night. So where is his fantasy production going to come from? So I worry about CH. I was a big fader of him in the second round. Buck made me take him in the second round of one of the 12 drafts we did, and we're already eating loss on that. But if you have him, I think he's going to have a floor. The offense is really good. He's going to score touchdowns. He is elusive. He'll get a 30, 40-yard run here and there. He'll mix in with some receptions. Like, he's not going to go every game with 2 receptions or 0 receptions or 0 targets and things like that. So I think he'll have a floor. He'll give you some boom weeks, but he's not going to be a league winner.
I think my last thing, to get the opinions of the room real quick, and I guess I'll start with you, Denzel, but Hollywood Brown, somebody who, what I'm saying, I've been a fan of Hollywood going back to that dude was explosive on Saturdays, but what he did at Oklahoma just made me a fan. He was always just fun to watch. So, and I didn't necessarily, if you're just going off what he did the first couple of years, he always started off strong. And he's doing that again. He had 10 targets, 6 catches for 113 and a touch. So how would you guys value Marquise Hollywood Brown going forward the rest of the year? In Dynasty, I think I would. I'm still a little, questionable about. I would like to see how the fit is going to look like with Rashad Bateman when he does get back. This in terms of a long-term play. But how are you guys feeling on Marquise Brown after these first couple of weeks? And what I mean, they're just going off what Lamar put on tape yesterday as well. Denzel, you can start with that, bro.
Honestly, with Marquise, like, I think his best format is in best ball leagues because you can adjust the lineups and you're gonna get your boom or bust from him. But like, I don't see him maintaining the same type of target share, especially when Bateman comes back and Mark Andrews is probably gonna get more involved in the offense than he has the first 2 weeks. And then Sammy Watkins is also gonna need targets too. So I see him as like a wide receiver 3/flex and like in that role for like the rest of the season.
All right, cool. So we got. I will throw this question to Andy and Buck. We got a chat. Shout out to Drew Markham in the chat. Appreciate the question, my guy. Appreciate you checking us out. Hey, he says, "Hey guys, quick question: would you trade Julio and Cortland Sutton for DK Metcalf or AJ Brown?" So you said Julio and Sutton for one of the other.
No.
Andy, thoughts? I'll start with you, bro.
In a redraft league, I would hold the 2 receivers.
Yeah. What kind of league?
I like what I saw.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, let us know a couple more. Just background information about this. Yeah, how would you feel about that, Cam? Are you with Buck on that?
In redraft, like, absolutely not. In Dynasty, I would pair both of those receivers for either DK or AJ Brown. I think those guys are 2 top 5 Dynasty wide receivers, but I don't think he specified the format.
Yeah. So let's know in the chat. Raz, since you're back with us, so we'll go to you real quick. This is your biggest takeaway from the weekend. What really stood out to you? What's being crystallized in your mind as we get a little better of an idea of what's going on with these NFL teams? So what really stood out to you week 2 fantasy football season?
I mean, it solidified what we knew going into draft season. Like that early running back run is paramount. Like if you are not going to get one of the top guys, you have to get studs everywhere else. Are you going to be holding on to those Frank Gore days where you need those? I just need 8 points. I just need 9 points from my running back too, because like that's where it is right now. Like people like Mike Davis have underwhelmed. It's Cordarrelle Patterson season. Like who saw that? What's his name? Pollard. Freaking Ezekiel has turned into the Jamal Williams of the Cowboys. Like he just poaching Pollard touchdowns. Like it's out of control. I mean, I feel like it's only week 2, so yeah, you can panic for sure. There's some teams that need to panic, but also quarterback play. If you don't have one of the top 5 guys, you don't really have to panic. There's a lot of touchdowns being thrown, but having one of those playmakers that get touchdowns on their feet. Lamar showed up really big yesterday. Even after 2 picks, he still averaged about 30 fantasy points in most leagues. Kyler Murray looks ridiculous right now from a fantasy standpoint. So quarterbacks are turning into league winners, which we saw there were a few back in the day, but now it's like paramount. If you get somebody who can move with their feet, like you have a potential league win on your roster.
Yeah, the security of having a top quarterback is definitely something different than like the fantasy landscape from the last couple of years. Because if you got, being able to put Kyler Murray in that quarterback position, you don't got to worry about anything else. Can you play the streaming game? Yeah, you can, but that has some dynamites along the way for sure. So I mean, we can go back around the horn right now. I will start with you, Cam. But it's a little stock up, stock down. Just for guys that if we're just talking about just being a good value, somebody who you were a little lower on, or just somebody who after these first couple weeks has really impressed you, or you think you would be buying if they're out there on the trade market. So stock up, Cam, we'll go around the horn. Who you feeling stock up on with?
Stock up. These guys probably aren't available to buy at this point, especially after week 2. But I was one of the guys pretty nervous about Cortland Sutton coming into the season, recovering off of his ACL injury, and he put on more air yards last week than I think every team in the NFL did week 1. So he's looked spectacular. If you can buy him, I think
Teddy two gloves, man.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater's looked pretty good through 2 weeks. I'll do my quick stock down without taking a lot of time. Like, and y'all could probably touch on this because I think this is a pretty big deal. Like Brandon Ayuk, I have absolutely no idea what the hell's going on with Brandon Ayuk.
It's Deebo Samuel season. That's what it is.
It is. I mean, that's a big part of it, for sure. But going from the second half of the season, last year as a rookie, just absolutely setting the league on fire and being like a true alpha on the outside, being super productive. It's difficult to understand how he's disappeared. So I'm not even buying him low at this point. I'm pretty nervous about Ayuk and Will's up for Deebo. I mean, like I mentioned earlier in the show, he's wide receiver 3 through 2 weeks, and I think if he's healthy, he's the real deal.
Debo's looking like a league winner right now, man. And like I said, the only question mark with Deebo is health. Like I never really questioned the talent. He popped year 1. Obviously last year, he was just hurt for the most part. But even when he was on the field, he still always showed you just one of the, especially with the 49ers offense and how they operate, those quick short passing games, the screens, the bubbles. He's exactly how they want to use him. And even I feel like I know one thing that people would. This is a narrative that people, and not even narrative. It's definitely true about Kittle being the number 1 receiver, but Deebo is coming for that right now. Just off the first couple of weeks and how that offense has played out, he's definitely looked at that. The Ayuk thing, man. I'm Andy, and I guess I'll get your opinion on this, Andy, because I don't know what the hell. Like Kyle Shanahan is a lunatic. I will tweet this every weekend if I must. But what are we making of? Jimmy Garoppolo also looked trash this weekend. So if you have Trey Lance in leagues, that day might be coming soon. A couple more Sundays like that, and we're getting this Trey Lance season. But Andy, I know you did tweet. I saw the tweet about Brandon Ayuk earlier. But yeah, what are you making of just the Niners in general? We can talk about I'm also get your opinion on the backfield as well. Obviously we had the Eli Mitchell. Everybody is hurt.
Fucking Trey Sermon played one fucking snap and concussed himself, bro. Like,
Raz, your favorite player, Lamar Miller has been brought in for a workout.
It's time.
It's Lamar Miller. It's Lamar Miller time.
You know, time to 8 fantasy points. It no matter what's going on, you getting 8 from Lamar, man. You can book it, playing around everything else.
But yeah, Andy, what do you make of the 49ers ecosystem going in? Like, who are you trusting? Like how are you sorting this out?
Yeah, for Ayuk, I'm super nervous. I mean, if you have him in Dynasty, you just kind of got to hold and just hope this isn't like Dante Pettis 2.0. You just got to kind of just hold. Like, I wouldn't take a second or anything. But in redraft, like, I'm not going to cut him yet, but he's damn borderline cool. And if you can get any startable player, I think you just take it in redraft and just kind of cut your losses there. And for their backfield, I mean, Eli Mitchell, everyone blew all the fab last week, like 80% of the fab. And he did get 17 carries, 2 catches, and he should have had a touchdown. I think got called back. So he's still someone that I'm interested in. Even if you could buy him low, like if someone that spent all the fab last week and they're like disappointed because they only got 7 points, he might be a good buy low. Obviously, like you said, with everyone hurt, he's hurt too. But I think he's supposed to play this week. And Hasty has a high ankle sprain; he'll be out. And obviously, Sermon is going to be out too. So I think Eli Mitchell's a buy, and I think for Ayuk, you just kind of got to hold and just hope for the best at this point.
All right, Raz, my G, stock up, stock down across the fantasy platform. What you feeling?
That's tough. I would say, I'm always going to lean University of South Carolina because I'm a lunatic. But I think if Derek Carr is going to be serviceable and hit his targets most of the time, Brian Edwards I would buy low on him right now if he's still available because he's probably the best route runner on that team. Obviously, Waller is just incredible, and but they showed you what a team can do when Waller's not getting 32 targets. They kind of took a little bit of that away, and Derek Carr didn't target him 1,000 times. But Brian Edwards is somebody I would buy low on right now. In terms of selling somebody, there's been a bunch of disappointments. It's week 2, and it's kind of one of those things where I don't like to overreact just because I usually plan on like drafting my team well to where I can deal with a little panic situation. But like Kareem Hunt concerning me for where he went. Nick Chubb is proven to be just, Nick Chubb. Like obviously we knew Nick Chubb is the real deal, but Kareem Hunt in that complimentary role used to be able to get you more points than what he's getting. And right now where he was drafted, I don't think you're getting the value you are with Kareem Hunt. And I think one more other person to purchase in if you can, Tim Patrick out there on the Broncos. He's looking solid, and it might be actually Devin Singletary season for once, but he just keeps fumbling. So I'm very hesitant. I think one more fumble, it's gonna be Zach Moss season. He has 3 fumbles in 2 games, bro.
I'm gonna bring my guy Joe on in a second. But Andy, I know how you feel about the Hunt. So how you feeling about I know what your preseason take on Kareem Hunt was. So after 2 weeks, are you feeling a little validated on that, bro?
You talking to Berg, right?
No, that was the Andy Buck.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was fading Kareem Hunt forever, so I'm pretty happy about that. He's just like a guy that you just have to put him in your flex, I guess. Just hope he doesn't really score points without a touchdown. Like he has no floor, so you sell him for. If you go for Javonte Williams in redraft, I would do that instantly. Like accept and do that.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. That's not bad. I got my guy on the show with me, man. Giants fan for life. My guy Joe Berg. What's going on, my G? How you, bro?
How are you, bro? How are you?
Hey, man. Thank you for popping on, man.
I'm ready. I'm ready to talk some shit whenever you're ready.
Yeah. We're gonna get to these bum ass Big Blue in a moment after we do get to this second. So I mean, we can move around. So let's talk about some of these rookie quarterbacks real quick across the league. Obviously, Raz, we haven't talked about the Jets yet. So I mean, we could just get your opinion on the week 2 Zach Wilson performance. So I mean, let's just start. Let's just start there.
I can soliloquy this one. I don't even need to lead into this nonsense. I think what it comes down to is, I'm not, everybody around me wants me to panic on Zach Wilson. I've been here before. We are the New York Jets. This is not something that that I'm not used to. Like having bad quarterback play has been a staple since Chad Pennington hurt his shoulder this the third time, the second time, the first time. Like it doesn't even matter. But like I will say, I'm not gonna panic on Zach Wilson. Played a mastermind against rookie quarterbacks. Like Bill does that to every rookie quarterback. You know, the Jets quarterbacks that have had success against him as rookies, Geno Smith and Mark Sanchez. So you take from that what you want. Like those are anomaly situations. Zach Wilson, you know, I would have been fine with him saying he saw a ghost. It would have gave me a reason for what was going on out there. I mean, he just looked like somebody who was pressing way too much and trying to make things happen. But I'm also looking now at the play caller, right, in terms of rookie play caller, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. A lot of growing pains going to happen with that. The O-line played a bit better. The running game was existent. They got rid of the Tevin Coleman season, and it is now Ty Johnson and Michael Carter season. K-Lou, the Jets probably didn't play yesterday, but we got to talk about it. We got to be real. If we're gonna shit on the Giants for the next 30 minutes of this podcast, then the Jets do have to get it too. I will say a lot of just watching the film earlier this morning, a lot of those route combinations ended up in the same fucking location. The Patriots didn't have to do much to guard it. Like it wasn't like the defense was spread thin. Like there was a lot of different route combos that were taking people a different way, like misdirection. None of that. It was, should I keep Sermon or Mitchell? I don't know. Like, I guess you go with Mitchell because he's the one playing. But, I mean, at some point it has to be Trey Sermon season, I would think. But if he's going to get concussed every time he touches the field, I will go with the Mitchell. Hopefully you didn't spend all your waiver points on that.
I mean, real quick from the room, is Trey Sermon a drop? Like, what are you doing with Trey Sermon if you drafted Trey Sermon and you know what I'm saying you're and like he has a concussion. So like he's concussed like a motherfucker. Are you just cutting bait on the Trey Sermon experience right now? Yeah. Whoever can hop in with that with me.
I have him on a team. He's rostered on one of my teams. I'm hoping he goes on IR so I can make that decision and like they make the decision for me because I still have faith in it. I shouldn't have faith in it at all, but I still do. I think it's one of those situations where you never know what you're going to get from Kyle Shanahan week to week. Like you said, he's a lunatic. The only thing that seems constant in that right now is Kittle and Debo. Those are only constants in that offense right now. Everything else, you're flipping the coin.
I'll chime
in. Go ahead.
I'll chime in as well. Sorry, Buck. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. I think Trey Sermon is definitely a hole, especially in redraft. You had to pay like a 6th-round pick to get him. Like you're not dropping him. Like not after week 2. Like most just out for the year. You know Shanahan is going to use a committee in his backfield, and Jeff Wilson is still out. So we got Hasty out with a high ankle sprain for probably 6-7 weeks minimum because it takes so long to come back from that injury. Then you just have Elijah Mitchell. Yep. So you hold him. There are other people that you should be able to drop from your bench instead of like the play that you dropped in the 6th round. So he's a hole for me.
Yeah, it's not pretty. And like I said, you don't want to overreact because that could end up being a midseason league winner. Because the 49ers backs can't stay healthy. So it's kind of a, you know what I'm saying, it's a musical chairs type of situation. Like who's really going to be leading the backfield by the time the fantasy playoffs come around? It still could be Sermon, even though, like our man K-Lou said, he has CTE, he's about to be in the concussion protocol. So I would definitely that backfield is still valuable currency. So I would just see how the injury plays out and hold for a couple weeks at most. So I mean, yeah, I think going on to Cam, we'll bring you back on here as our resident Bears fan for today. Just your quick thoughts on what you saw from obviously Andy Dalton. That first drive let him down for a score. What did he hurt himself on like he was running when he hurt himself, right? Like that's just like he's just flabby. That's just about how that goes. But what did you see from, you know what I'm saying, Fields and, you know what I'm saying, the play calling was very conservative when Justin Fields got in there. But what was just your takeaways from the first half of basically the Justin Fields as a starter experience?
Yeah, obviously as a Bears fan, super excited to see him get on the field. He didn't have a good game, but this game was a lot better than the stat sheet would indicate. He had 3 drops. One was an absolute dime to Allen Robinson in the end zone. It would have been like a 40-yard touchdown pass. And one was off the fingertips of Darnell Mooney. So we know the Bears passing game is going to open up. They're going to be more aggressive with Justin Fields. But I do want to talk about his value. So Justin Fields is a bust-proof fantasy asset, whether you're talking about redraft or dynasty. Kid only played, 7 quarters. He had 10 rushing attempts. Wherever you have Jalen Hurts ranked, put Justin Fields like a little bit ahead of that. So once he gets reps with the ones and he has continuity with the offense and his playmakers understand where he likes to put the ball, like Justin Fields is going to be a very good NFL quarterback. And that's no bias. But for fantasy purposes, everybody should be trying to get their hands on Justin Fields in Dynasty. And if you can get him from somebody who is low on him after his performance this past week in redraft, when you're dealing with like Trevor Lawrence or but Zach Wilson, go get you Justin Fields because at least he's going to give you enough on the ground to sustain like a top 12 finish on a week-to-week basis.
Well, if you drafted Zach Wilson in redraft as your QB1, you wasn't playing to win anyway.
Not
like he wasn't.
Definitely not in one QB leagues.
Shit. Look, I'm the biggest Jets fan out. Like, this is for life. He's not on any of my rosters, so I had to see. I have faith in the kid. I do. He has the arm talent, and he's a lunatic, which could be good or bad. But hopefully, we leaning towards more it being good once he figures it out. But if he's on your team in a one quarterback league, you didn't listen to any of the podcasts that were out there, because if anybody told you to do that, they were lying to you. Two quarterback league, yeah, maybe you took a swing on it, but he still might have been the bottom of the barrel there too.
Yeah, so but we mean like more like for these rookie quarterbacks, these are all long-term plays. So I mean, obviously, like the whole Belichick thing. And even with Zach Wilson, like some of his things, he has it's really good and bad with him, and like he has a really strong confidence in his arm. I also think that second pick was kind of on Corey Davis a little bit. That was just like when I was going.
That's what I said. That's what I said. People told me it would have been a great catch. Denzel, one of those people, actually speak to that, bro. That shit went right through his hands.
On a check down, he had a wide open check down.
He made a bad decision.
You can't throw it high. He threw it high,
bro. If we was playing at Roy Wilkins, you would have said I should have caught that.
It was a little bad luck, yes, but if you have somebody that's wide open and you're gonna make that throw instead, you got to make the throw. You got to make it a good throw. You can't throw it high.
But if you're paid to be a number one wide receiver, you got to make the tough catches. Not every ball is perfect.
And on a tough scale, that was low on the tough scale.
Correct. That's about a 4.
Like that wasn't it. We wasn't asking him to make a fingertip catch. It went through his hands.
Both hands were on it.
Mm-hmm. I can see this one. I can see it.
Yeah, no, like I said, that's probably enough. That's probably enough Jets talk for once. I'm buying on the Michael Carter. I said that after week 1. He's obviously the best back. I mean, it was kind of obvious. Just knowing what we know about all of those 3 backs. So yeah, I'm buying.
Ty Johnson. we're not gonna slander Ty Johnson.
He's
serviceable.
He looked decent, but he looked decent. But as a complimentary back, he's not really like some people had their hopes up that he could really end up as number 1. Like I said, that's kind of fool's gold, to be honest. And like I said, he's more of a complimentary guy. Couple other guys I wanted to get into. Rondale Moore. We could go on to the actual Cardinals game real quick. But that Cardinals Vikings game, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Gus Johnson and Aqib Talib. That booth experience was magnificent. We need more of that. I need that every Sunday. Matter of fact, let Gus Johnson call the Super Bowl, bro. I don't want to see like all due respect to Al Michaels, all due respect to Joe Buck. We need Gus Johnson on that just for the vibes. You know what I'm saying? We need to make that happen. But Rondale Moore, obviously, week 1 was Christian Kirk time. Kyler Murray is just like he's out there playing blacktop football. He's just running around, do whatever. You can't even do the shit that Kyler Murray does in real life in Madden. Like obviously, like you can, but you really can't. Like just the way he runs behind the line of scrimmage. Even that broken play touchdown, the 70-yarder to Rondale Moore, that was basically just set up by the entire defense collapsing on Kyler and forgetting that basically that Rondale Moore is right there. So I mean, rest of the season, I will go to you first, Andy. But how would you value? Obviously, Nuck is the number 1 in Zona, but on a week-to-week basis, who do you think has a more safer floor between Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore? Who would you be looking to really put in if we're talking that in that flex spot for somebody towards when obviously these weeks, but guys who really, when we get to the second half of the season, when you really need to put up a shut up time, who do you think is going to be more trustworthy on a week-to-week basis for your lineup?
Definitely Rondell Moore. Like, I'd rather just have like the more unknown. Like, we've seen 3 years of Christian Kirk. We kind of know that he's like ass at the point. He shows up in games with a big game. Moore, he's on the field. They give him the ball. Only week 1, he only ran 14 routes, got 5 targets, had 68 yards. And then obviously this past week he had a monster game. So I'd much rather have him over Christian Kirk. He's only rostered in 44% of ESPN leagues. So if you can go get him off the waiver wire, he should be like the number 1 priority this week. I think Rondell Moore is a flex starter for the rest of the year, at least like a boom bust flex. But I think he is definitely a starter.
Anybody else got thoughts on Rondell?
I don't know. I would purchase him if he's available. You get him. His price might be a little bit high for right now just because of the breakout performances, but there's a lot of weapons on said team. So I don't know what his floor is going to be weekly.
Just to parlay a little bit into the next thing I wanted to talk about, the Colts Rams game. Rams pulled that up 27-14. That game, it was kind of a nasty game. A lot of like I said, that Carson Wentz played all right. I see some people say he played well. I probably wouldn't go that far. That flip interception that he passed, I've rarely seen that. Also, I've never seen the protection man on. I don't know if you guys know the play I'm talking about on the punt, where the snap basically hit the long man. And it ended up into a touchdown for the Colts. I literally never seen that on the football field before. But my question for the panel, Raz, I will start with you. Through 2 weeks, this has been the Cooper Kupp show. And that's obvious to everybody. Stafford to Kupp is looking like Montana to Rice right now. But if you own Robert Woods on a scale of 1 to 10, what would your level of concern be? Or would you consider him a buy low? Raz, I'm going to start with you, bro.
I'll buy low on him if you can. At some point, they're going to play someone who's going to attempt to take Cooper Kupp away, right? And Robert Woods is a very viable receiver, and Matthew Stafford is a very viable quarterback. I think right now the Cooper Kupp connection is just so potent. Why would he go away from it? But at some point, somebody's going to have to scheme against that. I don't think you should bail out on Robert Woods as of yet. I would give it a few more weeks to see what's going on. It's week 2. By week 5, if we're still having these conversations, week 6, you might be in trouble. So I mean, that doesn't help, I guess, if I'm telling you to hold on to him. But where you drafted Robert Woods, I'm sure you're not in a position to be letting Robert Woods go off just to the waiver. So you got to hold him anyway. And if somebody's going to trade for him, you could entertain it, but I wouldn't trade him for below market value.
Who else got Woods takes? Well, I mean, personally, I would consider Robert Woods. I think the tide is probably going too far in the other way. He had 9 targets this week. Like you said, Raz, somebody probably will take away Kupp eventually. And I just think Robert Woods is too good of a receiver to really consider this like his floor is really safe over an entire season. So it's probably been it probably hasn't gone his way over the first 2 weeks. But I think as a receiver, he's just too good. I think he gets open too much. And I do think like I said, they're going to find themselves in situations where they're going to need to pass the ball as well. And I think McVay is just going to. I think he's going to have to scheme probably a couple more touches Robert Woods' way going towards the rest of the season. But Cam, how would you agree on that? What would you think?
I think you and Raz were spot on. I mean, eventually they're going to get in a situation where they have to throw the ball more. I think he had 30 pass attempts, and then the week before he had 26. They're gonna have to pass the ball more. Like Cooper Kupp scored on busted seam coverage 2 weeks in a row. That's not gonna be there every week. And then Robert Woods' route participation and targets went up. He had 9 targets. So if you could still buy low, like absolutely buy low. They're gonna get in game situations that are not against my Bears, where they only have to throw the ball like less than 30 fucking times, and against the Indianapolis Colts, who has like an inept offense as well. So they're going to get in situations where Matthew Stafford has to have an uptick in passing production, and Woods is going to be a benefactor. So if anybody is selling low on Robert Woods, I'd absolutely be interested in buying. He should be in the back end wide receiver 2 discussion for the rest of the season at minimum. I feel like we do this like every year with one of these guys. Like one is always eating when the other isn't. They're both going to be good. I'm interested in buying. Well, you can't buy Cup right now, but I would be interested in it if the roles were reversed.
Yeah. Anybody have anything else from this game? I mean, what else we got from this game? The Colts. Michael Pittman had a damn good game. I'll say that.
I would buy low on Michelle. I don't see Darrell Henderson.
I mean, so yeah, obviously, I guess we could talk about the backfield for a sec. I don't know. I didn't see an update on Darrell Henderson's actual status. But he's questionable. He's going to be questionable coming into week 2. So I mean, is Sony Michel, if we're just talking waivers for a second, is Sony Michel somebody that you would blow 15% of your fab budget on? I mean, Raz, we'll start with you, bro.
Sony Michel, the Sony Michel experience is something that I don't think I could pay for. I mean, in most good leagues, he probably shouldn't even be available. But if in the off chance that he is, you're in like a, I don't know, 10-person league, 12-person league, like you see somebody there, I would spend 10%, 10 to 50%. You might have it like right on ballpark. I might go 10, 15%. He's definitely the more sturdy back, as ridiculous as that sounds. But Sony Michel has been very uninspiring, as long as he's been in the league. But he does have talent, and they're gonna need somebody to run the rock. So if you're in a bind, sure, blow the bag. If not, I will hold tight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just can't get excited about Sony. I just can't. Like, it's just not in me. Like, y'all could have that one. And honestly, like I said, yeah, Henderson is a brittle guy. So is there probably some season long value if he's not there? Probably, but I'm just not. I can't in good faith really recommend that to anybody. Let's see what else we got here on the docket. Titans Seahawks real quick. Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry. I seen some concern about Derrick Henry after week 1. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? It's funny because if you like stop it, like to the first half, he didn't do shit in the first half either. But yeah, Derrick Henry just exploded. He got 35 carries for 182 yards and 3 yards. He even got 6 targets on there. So yeah, you're starting Derrick Henry. Obviously, you're starting Derrick Henry if you have him. But it's just like I said, that's why you take Derrick Henry in the first round, even if he's not getting his targets, obviously. But the receivers, real quick. Obviously, I don't know. When I went back and watched the game, and this was obvious if you're watching this game live, I don't know how the hell that Julio Jones touchdown got overturned. Because like, first of all, I saw both feet get in. 1, 2, I don't know how they decided that there was conclusive evidence to really turn that over when it was called a touchdown on the field. So I don't know what the hell the NFL receivers are doing. But is anybody worried about AJ Brown? Or I think we'd all probably consider better days ahead, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think AJ Brown was overdrafted because I could easily see Julio becoming the wide receiver 1 in that offense.
But Julio not going to score touchdowns, as we know, because he doesn't score touchdowns. He is he's allergic to them shits. So that's probably why they overturned it. It's like, this don't even look right. But I think AJ Brown in the red zone is still going to be an option. But I mean, if Derrick Henry is going to get 46 carries, then you could be worried. I mean, but AJ Brown, where he was going, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round kind of territory, like, I'd be a little bit upset and concerned. I would try to sell him if I could, but it depends on what you get back for sure. And you can't really say you're selling him high because he hasn't done much. So it's like, do you sell low on AJ Brown? I feel like in my heart I couldn't, but I would think about it.
All right, so Andy, I'm going to ask you this real quick. Was there a worse pick this year than Myles Gaskin? Like, I'm just gonna we can just start there, man.
No, I don't think so. I mean, all those dead zone RB guys were terrible picks. Myles Gaskin, he had 14 carries and combined in 2 weeks. I mean, you can't cut him because you probably spent a 5th round pick on him. But man, I still think Salvin Ahmed is gonna end up taking over that backfield there. So yeah, I think that was a real bad pick and just a bad process pick, kind of a guy you could have saw already to avoid.
Yeah, nah, for sure. So I feel like for the most part, we went around the league. Saints, Panthers, real quick. How do you guys feel about the Darno? I mean, Raz, we can go to you, Jets fan. Darnold's looked all right, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think he looked much better than he looked in week 1 against the Jets. He
Who
looked a
knew?
lot better, I would say. But how you feeling about Darnold? Would you consider him a possible streamer on a week-to-week basis going forward? Or are we not there yet?
I think you got to. Oh boy.
We've always been a believer,
Shout
Sean.
out to
Right?
the homie Reef in the building.
Nah, I mean, I think you gotta consider that. I think he is a streamer. He just has too many fucking weapons around him. Like,
Total weapon.
you know, like Christian McCaffrey, like, yeah, I'm very content to throw him the ball as a dump down because I'm getting 10 yards. DJ Moore, incredible wide receiver. Robbie Anderson, old, familiar, faithful kind of shit. I'm in a bind. Robbie Anderson is somehow always open 50 yards downfield. It just, it seems that no one has decided to guard him on streaks or seam routes. And then that tight end they got who has about the same name as Sam Darnold.
Dan Arnold.
They have some synergy going on too. I mean, like we dealt with it for 3 years in New York where it was like, I knew what the fuck I was watching. Like Sam wasn't as bad as the Jets made him be. And I think, he had to leave New York. They're like, Joe Douglas couldn't lay his hat on that because if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with somebody I picked. So I understand what he did as a GM. But, like, Sam Darnold in Carolina should be fine.
How you guys feeling about Sam? I'll go around Denzel, I'll go to you. Like, what have you seen from Sam? Are you buying that as a possible streamer, bye-week streamer?
Yeah, I want all the Sam Darnold shits I could possibly get. Like I was extremely high on him going into this season because
it still sounds crazy to say.
Because it's like Raz was saying, it's like he has all these weapons, and it's just like once Terrace Marshall gets into the offense too, I feel like that's just another weapon that he has at his disposal to use. And dumping it down to McCaffrey, he's gonna probably pick up over 100 total yards. Like, and it's just like it's like the coordinator, like he has a good coordinator with him too. Joe Brady knows how to use him. Like, I think he's in a really good situation.
Yeah, for sure. So I think my last question for the room before we bash the Giants to fucking hell. I wanted to go back to the Dallas and Chargers game real quick. Obviously, that was a that can't do much, but it was kind of just because they Dallas was just gashing the Chargers run by run. Tony Pollard put up 8.5 yards per carry. I don't think Zeke looked bad per se. You know what I'm saying, for what you can come to expect from Zeke. But it's just obvious that Tony Pollard pops much more on the field. So I mean, I will ask this to you, Cam. Where are you at on Tony Pollard the rest of season? Would you be trying to sell high possibly to see what you could get for Tony Pollard, or you think this is gonna? I always thought he had a role on a week-to-week basis, possibly as a like a real borderline flex guy. But how would you value the Dallas backfield for the rest of the season?
I think the same as I did coming in. I tweeted out like sometime in the summer. I don't remember. Like I shared the tweet with Buck, but I mentioned something about Kareem Hunt going in the 5th round versus Tony Pollard going in like the 9th through 11th, and people were like bashing me on Twitter, calling me an idiot because they're like, one has standalone value, the other one's a handcuff. But I mean, you saw some of the standalone value appeal with Pollard in the game yesterday. I think if you got him in the 10th, 11th round, you're probably just holding him unless you could flip him for a solid RB2, because I do think he's going to have the standalone value. But in terms of how it affects Zeke, I mean, I think Zeke played like 40-something snaps to Pollard's 20-something. I mean, that's how it's going to be. It's going to be their version of like Kamara and Mark Ingram. Like they're going to mix Tony Pollard in and down in distance and 2-minute drill situations. It's still going to be Zeke because he's such a good pass protector. I don't really worry about Zeke too much. I mean, Zeke should still get enough volume to be a top 10 running back, especially since the position is so bad. And Tony Pollard should give you some standalone value as well, especially when the game script indicates, like you said, Sean, he's got a lot more juice to his game than Zeke at this point in his career. So they're going to find a way to get him on the field. I think we've seen enough of that in the first 2 weeks. So if you have Pollard, I think he's a hold. I don't think you should be panic selling him because he had a good week. I think he's going to have a few more good weeks throughout the season. But if you can get something good in return, like a more stable asset, then do that as well. So I'm pretty good on both. I think they can both be productive. The volume is going to be in their offense for both, and the Cowboys are going to score a lot of points.
Yeah, moving on to the Chargers side of the ball real quick. I mean, Austin Eckler did his Austin Eckler thing. I don't really think there's much to see there. Like, he just did his Austin Eckler thing. I do think just in terms of this Keenan Allen first Mike Williams thing, because I think Mike Williams looks better than ever. So I mean, are you guys are we in, like, how do you guys feel about this Mike Williams this year? Is this finally the year we're about to get a breakout Mike Williams season?
I was fucking.
I think so. I think he's a top 20 wide receiver.
Yeah, I was 3 years too early on him. Clearly, I mean, he was often injured. But if he can stay healthy and Justin Herbert is slinging that rock, I mean, he's such a big body receiver and he's so talented like this. We could see, if he stays healthy, top 25 receiver potential from him this year.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So I mean, let's just get. Anybody else have anything else they want to get off real quick? Nah, all right. So Berg, I'm gonna go to my guy Berg on this because, like I said, we have not spoke about the bum ass New York Football Giants these last 2 weeks, and I'm just gonna, like, the frustration levels at an all time high. The last 5 years of this football team has just been complete dog shit. We've basically been the worst team in football over the last 5 years.
No, not basically. Not basically.
Oh yeah, for sure. We 100% been the worst team in football over the last 5 years, and it begins from the top down. So I mean, Bird, we like, and this is the stuff. I think Daniel Jones probably played his best game of his career on Thursday Night Football, but like in general, with the whole organization from top down, Jason Garrett still fucking seems clueless. How are you feeling about, like, just talk to me, Berg, because like I said, the Giants are just a flaming turd, and I had a little optimism coming in, but that's completely gone. It's just gone.
Well, with all due respect, excuse my French, I hate this fucking team. Like, yeah, I genuinely hate this team. John Mara somehow went from being arguably at one point the best owner in New York sports to probably being to Giants fans now. He's a James Dolan type at this point almost. He's the number one stank on this organization, holding them back strictly off of the fucking nonsense decisions that he refuses to ever change his thought process on. The constant, I have to hire within, I have to hire the Giants family, nonsense like this bullshit. There's no reason why Jason Garrett was ever hired to begin with. What was shown from Jason Garrett's tenure in Dallas to bring him here to lead an offense? It's one thing, I would have disagreed with this. It's one thing if you brought him here as a fucking head coach. Well, what possesses you to bring him here as an offensive coordinator? Part of me at one point was like, all right, well, he can maximize Saquon. But the one thing that you fucking need to maximize Saquon is an offensive line, and we don't have that. So what exactly can he do? Like, what exactly positively can he do for this organization that justifies him being our fucking offensive coordinator? You paid Kenny Golladay $72 million to throw him as many passes as I got thrown on Thursday. Like, I can't comprehend it. I look back on that game itself and the Bradbury interception. What to ask all you guys, and you should all have a specific answer for this. What play constantly worked in that game on Thursday? It was one specific play.
On offense?
Yeah.
Oh, the read option.
Okay. So when Bradbury had an interception on the Washington 24, there was, I think, probably 2 minutes, 2:24 left, something like that. Do you know they ran 2 runs with Saquon, which after the 41-yard run did nothing the entire game? So you get 2 Barkley runs, and you got a Daniel Jones pass. Not a Daniel Jones read option, which worked the entire fucking game. The entire game. And you don't call it once on that drive because you're sitting there perfectly okay settling for a fucking field goal when your defense in that game played like shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, explain to me how Jason Garrett here on Monday, 4 days after the Thursday game, still has a fucking job. Jason Garrett should be where we are right now, which is not employed by the New York Giants. And a lot of people are to blame in this organization, but the fact that he still has a fucking – what has he done? What the fuck is he doing? Like, come on, man. Like, all due respect.
How you feeling, bro?
Wait, hold on. Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kadarius Toney was bugging out a little bit with his complaints because you're 2 weeks into your NFL season. But I don't even fucking blame him. You drafted in the first round. You do why? CJ Board got snaps, bro. Like, CJ Board got snaps. Come on, man. What the fuck is this team doing? And Joe Judge gives a fuck about his NYPD hat collection more than he gives a fuck about winning football games. You're scared to fucking to score touchdowns in the fourth quarter, or you're over here settling for field goals. Come on, man. Fuck this team, man. Come on, man.
Like it's frustrating. Like, if you had called me Thursday, I would have been way more upset if we had this podcast compared to now when I watched the film and really sat down and watched everything.
I couldn't even watch it back. I didn't even want to.
And then, like, my thing with Jason Garrett is just like, why is the Sterling Shepard jet sweep still in the playbook? Why is that still a play that we run? Like, it makes literally
it's explosive.
I haven't seen that play gain more than 5 yards like in 2 years.
They are the least creative team in the NFL, and it's not even a competition. There's not even a competition.
And I'm so pissed because the first drive I had hope because the first drive that was scripted, I was like, oh, maybe he's finally changed and we have something going. But like, it's like you're saying, it's just like we didn't run a single read option at the end of the game, and then we tried to run the ball after we completely abandoned the run game from like the end of the third quarter. Like, we did not run the ball again, and then all of a sudden we were going to be able to run the ball when they clearly knew that we were going to try and settle for a field goal. Like, it didn't make any sense. And it's just like coming into the season, it was just like Daniel Jones is like, he was the biggest question mark coming into the season, and he's literally been our best player on the team through 2 weeks. Like, the defense, like, we paid so much money on defense, and the defense is like, I don't know what's going on defense. It's like even the touchdown we gave up, it was like they didn't expect like a halfback draw was a possibility to be ran. Like, I don't know what formations we were running on defense. If like we're overthinking things on defense, it's just like maybe sometimes on defense it's just like, how about we master the simple things and learn how to run basic defenses before we try to run exotic fronts and shifting guys over to overload on one side. It's like before we do all of that, and then it's like we get caught up in those situations, and now it's like the defense was supposed to be a strong point in the team, and I don't even know if the offense or the defense has been worse through 2 weeks, honestly. Because Bridgewater, he killed us last week. Like he went down the field, dinked and dunked us all the way down the field.
Couldn't do nothing with him.
And that was more brutal to watch. Like, it was so brutal to watch that for an entire game. Like, and we have no pass rush. The pass rush is non-existent.
Yeah, Leonard Williams got his money, and this motherfucker's sitting there huffing and puffing the entire fucking game. Like, come on, man. Give me a break.
Yo, Buck, I know you have thoughts on this. How you feeling, Buck?
No, I agree with all of that. I mean, obviously Garrett is terrible, but I think we're running the Sterling Shepard jet sweep because Evan Ingram's hurt. We like to run. We can't run the Evan Ingram sweep that Jason Garrett calls. That's probably why we've been running. But yeah, everything.
Hey, man.
It was like he's been the one positive, and he was like the biggest. But yeah. That's all I got. I mean, that team is just terrible. That defensive play call on the McKissick run, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen on a touchdown by McKissick.
Oh man, yes.
Let me say something to y'all real quick. Because I hear a lot of complaining. I hear a lot of gripes, a lot of moaning. And from my side of MetLife Stadium, y'all complaining for no fucking reason. Y'all having a bad 5-year stretch. Yeah. The Giants, they went on a little Trey Songz yacht, smoked a little heat, had some Timbs in Miami on a boat. That's bad. That's bad fucking karma. You guys deserve everything you fucking got. It's been 5 years. You've won a Super Bowl in the last decade, correct? Yes. Can we all get an answer here? Has there been a banner raised in the last decade?
Yeah, you got that.
All right, cool, right? My dad hasn't seen one, okay? The Jets won in fucking 1969. You know, he saw it. He was 6. Let's go with that. My dad was 6 years old when the fucking Jets won, bro. The closest, my Super Bowl.
How old your dad, bro? How old your dad?
My dad was born in 63. So he got his Knicks, Mets, and Jets out the way early, and then fucked me. So my thing is right now is that y'all really are complaining about a 5-year stretch of ineptitude when there's like cool, y'all yes, Mara might be out of touch, y'all might have hired the wrong coaches, but you know, in my years, y'all have won 2 Super Bowls. You know, off of sheer fucking luck too. If we're gonna be honest, like y'all shouldn't have beat the Patriots. Like
the second one was good. The second one was good. The second one was valid. The second one was valid.
All right, second one's valid. So the first one was God.
Yeah, first one.
The first one was Jesus, Allah, whoever you root for. So y'all have been blessed. Like, what are we talking about? Y'all have had Eli Manning for fucking 2 decades. Like, y'all had some sort of semblance of normalcy, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. My Super Bowl was beating the Patriots in the fucking AFC divisional round. Can't wait. You feel me? That's mine. And then we went and laid a fucking egg in the first half against the Steelers. The Steelers the next week and tried for a furious second half comeback. Bro, my dad works for the Jets. I would have Super Bowl tickets if we win. And 2 years in a row, I was shut down at the door, bro. It's like getting to the front of the line and they tell you we at capacity. That's what happened to me every single time. So everything y'all complaining about right now is going in one ear and out the other. Y'all got 5 years. Y'all been just as bad as us for the last 5 years. We haven't made the fucking playoffs since 2010. Leave me alone, bro.
But bro, that's your fault for becoming a Jets fan. That's not our problem.
All right, but all I'm saying is no one is listening to y'all. It's not your problem. It's not your problem. But your complaints when this podcast is released across the airwaves will fall upon deaf ears. No one gives a fuck about New York's pain. No one gives. They want to make fun of us. No one gives a fuck about New York's pain. That's evident.
Right.
That's evident in everything, bro. We just had a fucking hurricane pull up. There was no prayers for New York on the timeline. Like nobody cares about nothing, bro. Like y'all talking about we bad for 5 years.
Sean, we're back on the Jason Garrett pack for a minute because he's not gonna get fired this year. So I'm just gonna accept it. He's playing past this year. So if I gotta see for 14. Wait, they extended this shit. I got 15 more weeks of this shit. God damn. If I gotta see a 3rd and 9, and I see where that first down marker is, and I already know before the play is snapped that each wide receiver is running a fucking 4-yard route on 3rd and 9 instead of a 10-yard
so bad, man. Yo,
10-yard route. Like. I just want to know the thought process. I just need the thought process of having your wide receiver run a 4-yard route when you need 10 yards. Where? And it's not even a creative 4-yard route. It's a fucking 4-yard route in the middle of the field or to the sideline. Come on, man. How is he still employed? What's going on here?
And the crazy part is, like, from all the stats and numbers you can run, like, you can tell that Daniel Jones is a way better quarterback when the ball is being pushed down the field. And it's like, why would you not be running routes that are
Denzel? It might have been a small sample size last year, but I'm pretty fucking positive, according to the stats, Daniel Jones had the highest QB rating on deep balls last year. Guess how many deep balls we've probably thrown this year? Maybe 4? Maybe 4 in 2 games. Maybe fucking 4. And it ain't going to Kenny Golladay either. It ain't going deep balls to Kenny Golladay. So why did you bring him here?
Yeah,
y'all paid Kenny Golladay that.
He's still running the Slayton special. I don't know why.
Come on, man. I like Darius Slayton, but give me a fucking break.
We spent money on Kenny. We drafted a receiver in the first round, and we're still targeting Slayton as almost our second most targeted receiver.
And when he comes back, they're gonna still target Evan Ingram and not Kenny Golladay. So
Golladay number 1?
Yeah, Galladay's a 1.
Golladay should be a number 1 on most teams.
Yeah, he's a 1. Galladay's a 1.
Kenny Galladay's a number 4 in the Giants.
Yeah, he's a 1.
Yo, Andrew Thomas played 2 good games. They were 0-2.
with Schonenberg, like if we finish this season and we find out we have a competent quarterback, would you deem it a successful season?
No,
because Jason Garrett's still gonna be here next year.
I don't know. Like if we have a competent quarterback, man, I feel like going into next season that would give me hope because the Jets have not had a competent quarterback in like years, and I feel like if we found a competent quarterback, I feel like we would have to count our blessings if this dude is actual
right. But how much confidence do you have in John Mara? Because I think Gettleman's out of here after this year. But how much confidence do you have in John Mara of getting rid of the main fucking problem, which is the person calling the plays? So even if you do have a competent quarterback, at the end of the day, you're still running a fucking 8th grade offense. So,
but I'm saying if the Giants have another losing record, I can't see how Garrett comes back.
John Mara's still the owner. John Mara kept. Someone got to fucking John Mara, man. Please, I beg you.
Nah, man, it's like I said, Raz is probably right. Nobody gives a fuck about these Giants teams.
They don't.
And you know it's funny. You know it's funny because I saw somebody tweet. It was just like, all right, so you know what I'm saying. The devil pulls up to you and it's just like, hey man, I'll make a deal with you, man. Your favorite football team. You can see them win. You can see them win a championship. Would you take one championship over like 30 years of pain?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, obviously you're gonna say yes. That don't mean it's gonna be fun along the way though. That's currently what we're dealing with. So I mean, like I said, I think that'll wrap us up for the day, man. It's been a good episode. We have to get that off our chest.
If that's the fucking case, then I'm due, right?
Yeah, you are due because you've seen your entire life of things.
That's what I'm saying. I gotta be due, right?
It's coming. It's gotta come soon.
Nah, man, I mean, I don't know what deal y'all made with the devil, but y'all probably got to take him up with that, bro. I don't know, but yo, like I said, shout out to our guests, man, hopping on the podcast today, man. Shout out to everybody rocking with us, in the Periscope and on the YouTube channel. Cam, let the people know where they can follow you and all that good shit, my guy.
Yeah, y'all can follow me on Twitter at Cam's Not Sober. Sean, thanks for having me, bro. I really had a lot of fun on the pod today, man.
Yo, man, you already know, man. We're gonna bring you back in the future. Yo, Buck, let the people know all your content. Let them know they can check you out and everything, bro.
You can follow me on Twitter, Andy Buck Podcast, Path to a Dynasty Podcast on all services. And again, man, thanks for having fun shitting on the Giants.
No doubt. Denzel, let the people know. I don't know if you have any last thoughts you want to leave the people with. But yeah, man, you already know.
All right, so you can follow me on Twitter, Sprague Dens, and I don't know what I'm gonna do if the Giants lose to the Falcons this week.
Oh my God,
that's my last thought on the whole Giants thing.
Oh man, Berg, final takes, and all that good shit, my bro.
Denzel, if the Giants lose to the fucking Falcons, I'm moving to Syria. Like, give me a fucking break. I'm good on this. I'm getting to the point where if the Giants lose to the Falcons, I'm already kind of getting to that checked out aspect. I'm still gonna watch my team, but
I'm watching
the Giants lose to the Falcons.
2022 draft.
If the Giants lose to the Falcons, the rest of the season is completely focused on gambling. That is it. I don't give a flying fuck about the Giants. Daniel Jones could throw 40 touchdowns in the next 10 games, and I don't give a fuck about the Giants because that fucking douchebag Clapper is still going to be sitting at the fucking sidelines, sitting there with his goofy fucking face, sunburn on, all that shit, getting yelled at by his players, and still get paid for the rest of the season. So, go Giants.
Yo, Raz.
Getting sunburned at MetLife is tough too, because like
facts, because there's nothing but fucking shade in that stadium.
That place is a shithole. I mean, look, y'all complaining about nothing, man. Y'all have a few bad seasons. You know, draft some good players. Y'all be back. I have no pain. I feel nothing for y'all. You know, I think it would be nice for the Jets to turn around quicker than you guys. Don't see it, but you know. I'll see y'all on the other side for sure. Whenever that may be, may never be for me, but hopefully Zach Wilson is a quarterback, and we can have a conversation about this next year. And we'll go from there. But yeah, now in terms of y'all Giant pain, y'all lose to the Falcons. Just pack it up. Start looking at some Spencer Rattler film.
Spencer Rattler film. I'm a Jets fan if the Giants draft Spencer Rattler. I'll tell you that much.
Hey man, look, I've seen crazier things. So You know, is he white? Is he albino? What is he?
No, he's half. He's half and half.
I thought he was
Then yeah,
Oh, he's white.
well, then the Giants are certainly not drafting him. If he has any ounce of black in him, you know how y'all get down. So so y'all better look at some.
Geno Smith broke Eli's starting record.
Shout out to Gino Marino, man, a legend on this pod, a legend in the streets, man. Gino Marino was supposed to be the one. He hasn't turned out to be, but yeah, Sean, you can take this out.
Yeah, man. Y'all already know, man. Draft Season Podcast. We out of here. Oh man. Woo.